Good evening, everybody. This is a Permanent Municipal Building Committee meeting for Wednesday, July 26th. At the present time, we have no warrant or no minutes to vote on. We do have Andrew Samarco here from the Cemetery Commission. Andy, you want to let us know what you need?
Certainly, Bob. So thank you for having me tonight. So I'm also joined by Carolyn Mueller from the board. I think TC should be here momentarily, broadcasting live from the cemetery building. So I don't know if maybe we want to go back to this in just a second and just wait for TC.
Okay, we can do that. I can see when he comes on, and we do have a quorum now.
Perfect.
Brian Pasquale is here. Shakeline feasibility study, Stacy?
Yes, I just got an update actually from Ryan today, so I'm just gonna read off a few points. So we did just post for the RFS for the project manager, so that would need to be posted, I believe, by the 27th. So that's up right now, and so the dates and the timelines that we're waiting on now is August 2nd. It's going to be in the Central Register Designer Services of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and in the Lowell Sun newspaper. So the advertisement was placed on the 27th, and then it's going into the newspapers on the 2nd. And then it looks like on the 8th, we're going to be having an informational meeting for an on-site inspection for, I believe, anyone that's applying for the RFS or any interested parties that want to get kind of a tour of the current building. August 11th. What's that? August 11th is the last day for questions from respondents, and then on August 16th, that's when all the responses are due. So there's a few weeks for that, and then we shortlist respondents on the 23rd, and August 30th we interview those, and then on September 6th we submit it to the MSBA, which then it has to go through like a review panel, I believe. October 6th is when we can execute the contract that we have.
That's the one that's been rewritten, right? That whole RF.
The revised one, yes. We've been going back and forth with the MSBA for that, so I believe that's all been finalized.
Any questions, anybody?
No, I read it, seemed reasonable, but then I don't know anything about them.
Brian, any updates on everything you've been doing, Brian, for us?
Sure. First at the library, we did get confirmation that the contractor is getting his final payment for the solar panels, so that will close that out. The only outstanding remaining item was just the LEED certification. We've been hounding the designer as for an update with that. We actually pinged him this morning, so hopefully we get an update on that. Besides that, financially, we should be closed out from a project perspective. Over at the senior center, we had a presentation for the select board on Monday. I appreciate, Bob, for you attending. I thought it went well. I think it was received pretty positively about where we stood. We also brought Commodore with us and LLB to provide some insight as to the design and the construction manager process as we go through this. Regarding the senior center project, we're still tracking right now to have construction documents complete towards the second half of August. In between that time, we are getting on the agenda for the planning board for a site plan review. We do not trigger any type of significant permitting from the planning board, but they do want to review it from a site plan perspective and the impervious surfaces for stormwater. So we'll be getting on the agenda and hopefully getting on the next meeting for that. We also finished our pre-qualification again. So thanks to Bartlett and Mike, we've drafted the letters and we'll be notifying all of the qualified bidders whether or not they made it or not, most of which did. So we'll be sending out about 95 letters to those filed subbids to indicate that they will be ready to bid on this project. We do give them a rough time frame on when documents will be available. We'll also have a walkthrough at the location for those filed subbidders. So I'll be out there. If any if any of the prospective subcontractors want to walk the site to take a look at where the location is going to be, we're going to offer them that as well. Besides that, we're tidying up the budget, and we're going to be working with the online bidding service in order to put our documents up there. They will run our bidding for us. We will receive the bids on a date, probably 4 to 5 weeks once we go out onto bid. So we're going to be using the same process that Stacy talked about with the central register, combis. It'll be in the local newspaper as well as posted at town hall. So that's where we stand with senior center.
Brian, do we have a scheduled date for the soil testing?
So the soil testing, the pits that have already been dug, and the samples have already been taken. So we got a preliminary result that they thought it looked clean. They thought it looked good from just a visual inspection. But that's currently in the labs right now. We will get reports hopefully in the near future. And that's going to help our budget, hopefully. You know, we currently have an export of all classified material. We know that's not the case, so that will help firm our number up to establish our budget.
Now, if it comes back clean, what's the procedure for getting rid of it then? Do we have to send it to a lab again, or what?
No, if it's determined unregulated, then we can put it in the specs as it's that we determine that we assume that all material is unregulated. If the subcontractor or the site subcontractor is bringing it to a facility that does have requirements for it, they would be on the hook to do their own testing at that point.
Okay. Any questions from anybody?
Thank you.
All right.
I lost my.
Trying to let TC into the room, Andrew. Brian Pasquale, the roof, high school roof.
Yep. Quick update there. We started having weekly construction meetings with the contractor, Rockwall Roofing, and Russo Barr, the architect. And Steve Mark has been sitting in on those as well, which is helpful. They are out there now. They're working on site. They've completed all the through wall flashing and masonry work, which Russo Barr inspected this week and said looks good. They are working on setting and connecting roof drains this week, which I think they're planning to wrap up today. And then the actual rip and replace of the roofing and insulation material has been delayed a couple of times, unfortunately. The latest is now they're saying they're going to start that work on Monday, but they've assured us that they don't feel like that work is more than a 10 or 12 at the most working day duration. So they still feel more than comfortable that they'll be ready and out of there well before the start of school.
That's good. Rain hurting them.
Yeah, that's been kind of the story is, not so much this week, but the past couple of weeks they've said they've been slowed down on other jobs because of rain. So I guess that's understandable.
They do understand they got to be out there before school starts. All right.
Yep. And I have an email today saying in writing that they'll be out of there, well ahead of the 27th. So we're still on track for that.
Great. Great. Any questions for Brian? Okay. Andrew, you guys are on the floor now.
Oh, perfect. And I see TC is here now. So thanks again, everybody, for having us tonight. So the commission just wanted to briefly touch base tonight about our administration building at Westlawn Cemetery. It's an aging building. It's about 30 years old. And recently we've been taking on some water after some pretty heavy duty rainstorms. It's caused a great deal of rot actually in a few areas. So we were just hoping to discuss with you tonight that damage, and then perhaps getting maybe an assessment done in the near future on the building conditions and looking into what we could improve or replace on site. But TC is here to fill you guys in on some of the firsthand damage that we've been experiencing. So I will turn it over to TC.
In the room, but I don't see him with a camera or. TC.
You're
Can you
hear me?
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Yes, as Andrew said, thankfully it's not the roof that's leaking. It's just it's the foundation, and it comes into the bottom garage bays, the water. Only if it's raining hard enough. It's got to really rain, but as we know, that does happen. And the stairwell going down to the garage from the upstairs, there's the drywall, the paint is peeling off, and the wood, the little 2-inch soffit, is so punky you can just pull it apart with your hand. So there's definitely water coming in behind that wall down the stairwell through the foundation somehow. I don't know if a perimeter drain was never put in 1992 or if it has somehow failed since then, but it's through the foundation or where the foundation meets the building construction is where the leak is coming through.
TC, does that building have gutters on it?
It does not.
Is that something that might be able to cure by putting gutters on it to funnel water away from the building?
I'm sure that wouldn't hurt, but I don't know that that would be the solution, the total solution.
Have you had anybody look at it yet?
I had former building department head Ed Mullen come out, and he suggested the thing to do is you got to excavate out the front of the building right down to the bottom of that foundation and figure out what's going on with the perimeter drain, if it's not even there or if it's stuffed with silt and fine particles over the years.
Do we have any prints from that building when it was built?
I haven't seen them in this building, but that I guess it's possible they're in a drawer or shelf somewhere. If not here at the town hall, I would imagine.
Yeah, they may be at town hall, and it might be worth trying to get a hold of those to find out if it shows a perimeter drain around the building.
Yeah.
If not, that may, if it doesn't show it, or if we can't come up with the plans, then that may be what we're going to have to do is to. But Brian or Mike, any suggestions here?
Yeah, I mean, I would, if you have the plans, that would be helpful. I mean, I'm not sure if it's something in the joint between the concrete foundation and the facade structure back up wall above.
You can see a couple pipes that come out to daylight as the building slope, the land slopes from front to back. So where the slope gets deep, suddenly a pipe comes out to daylight. That must have been for a perimeter drain. And I fixed up one side of it, but I only am at the surface. And it stops it from,
So
it stopped it from most rain. It stopped probably 50% of it, but if it really rains, it'll still leak in there.
it might be a grading issue. It's so everything's grading toward the building on that side, or
It's a way, but it's not a way. It's a very subtle grade. The bricks, the brick patio in front of the building, if it rains hard enough, it'll hold a puddle right in the bricks.
yeah, I'd have to take a look and see for myself.
Harold, did you have something you wanted to say?
No. No, they've explained it. Just.
Andrew, I'm gonna not pass the buck on this, but I want to get Steve involved in it too.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, he's got family that's there last night there, and they're having a get together before they take off. But I'd like to get him involved and see just where we want to go with this.
That'd be great. And if you
Yeah.
guys want to have a site walk one of these days, we'd love to get together and maybe look at existing conditions and see what we can do.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Get him up
Yeah.
there.
I think a lot would be gained from a site walk. A picture says 1,000 words.
Mike, if you go,
Yeah.
I'd like to go with you.
Yeah, if I were to go, I'd have to go outside of normal business hours.
That's my life.
I don't think they have exact business hours up there, Mike.
I can be flexible. I can be flexible, so it doesn't, I'll do it, I'll meet you whenever you can.
Well, let me
I'm
get,
not familiar. I'm just curious. I'm not familiar with what or where this building is. Where is it located?
It's the back. of the cemetery.
Yeah, so if you go up the beginning of New Estate Road from 110, if you shoot right up to the back, we're right around the little circle.
Okay.
it's right at the rear of the cemetery, Brian.
Okay.
But let me get in touch with Steve on it, and we'll set up something to come up and take a look at it. Brian and Andy and TC.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Sounds great.
But we're gonna, you're gonna have to get somebody to come in and take a look at it and give us an estimate of what it's gonna cost you to do what you want to do. And, there's a possibility that if we gutted the building, that might take care of it too. So, any other questions on it?
That's good. Thank you.
Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
having us.
Member input? Brian, Pasquale,
Nothing for me, Bob. Thank you.
Bartlett?
My only question is, are we involved in the Indian Hill Music Building, and what's the status of that?
Not as of yet, Bartlett.
Okay, but we will be?
I would assume so once they come up with what they're gonna do to it. I know, I think Brian Fours and LLB have looked at the building
Okay,
to come up with some kind of estimate as to what they've got to do to it, but I think that's as far as it's gone,
okay, thank you.
right? Mike?
I'm all set.
Okay, I'm all set too. Anybody got any questions about anything? Stacy, you all set?
All set. Thank you.
Thank you for your update. Motion from adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn, Bob. Brian.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor? Bartlett? Did you leave already? Brian,
Brian Pasquale, yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
and Bartlett, so, and
Sidney
myself,
Sproul.
Bob. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Stace.